The winner of the final stage of the Arab League for the World Cup season is a frequent flyer. McLean Ward closes off an emotional set of weeks with a dashing win in Wellington, and Willem Greve, well, he is now a three-time winner within the same season on the Western European League. Lots of jumping happened over the weekend, lots of talking is to be done, but first your quick strides presented by Uvex. Antonio Blasquez, founder of the Sunshine Tour, passed away at the age of 86 while his circuit was in full swing. Blasquez was the driving force behind transforming Dehesa Montemedio into one of Europe's leading winter show jumping venues. For more than 3 decades, his commitment to organizational excellence turned the Andalusia Sunshine Tour into a major sporting, economic and tourism reference for the province of Cadiz. Blasquez co-founded the tour 32 years ago with the British rider David Broom, starting with just 200 horses. Today, over 3,600 horses participate annually. The city of Jerez la Frontera declared a day of mourning, and a minute's silence was held before the Grand Prix. Brazilian rider Marlon Zanotelli has claimed the victory in the Sharjah Cup 5-star Grand Prix in Doha, riding Charlie Hart to his first 5-star win since returning to the Ashford farm. Belgium's Peter de Vos and Casual DVZ finished second, with Roger Chamas and Glondon San Giovanni rounding out the podium in third place. For Zanotelli, this is his first 5-star Grand Prix victory since Paris 2022, when he won at the foot of the Eiffel Tower with Like a Diamond van het Schaak. There are 4 5-star Grand Prix events remaining in the Doha Equestrian Tour, all counting towards the overall ranking, where Scott Brash currently leads the standings. Belgian show jumping trainer Johan Philippaerts passed away on Saturday afternoon, February 21st, at the age of 55 after a prolonged illness in the hospital of Genk. Johan was the youngest of 5 siblings in the Philippaerts family and a brother to the legendary rider Ludo Philippaerts. After his own active riding career, he devoted himself to coaching young talents, including his nephews, Olivier, Nicolas, Thibaut and Anthony Philippaerts. His influence on Belgian show jumping as a rider and as a trainer is profound. Our condolences to the entire Philippaerts family. 2 riders will be sidelined in the coming weeks after sustaining injuries. Monaco's Anastasia Nielsen announced on Instagram that she suffered a stable L3 spinous process fracture, a break in one of the small bones protruding from the vertebrae in her lower back after a fall in Doha. Fortunately, no surgery is required, just patience and smart rehabilitation. Meanwhile, Belgian rider Emilie Conter has fractured her hand and has already undergone surgery. She's expected to be out for a couple of weeks. Both riders remain positive about their recoveries, though the timing is difficult as the winter circuit is in full swing and the outdoor season is upon us. 3 top horses made their comebacks at different venues this week. In Gothenburg, 16-year-old Killer Queen VDM returned after 202 days without international competition. The Eldorado van de Zeshoek mare, winner of the Spruce Meadows and Aachen Grand Prix, successfully completed her first rounds in Gothenburg. In Borken, Germany, Angelique Bergman brought Mandato van de Neerheide to a national meter 40 class after 280 days out since the Global Tour in Madrid last May with Christian Ahlmann. Mandato van de Neerheide claimed victories in the Mechelen World Cup and in the LGCT Grand Prix of Paris. While Michael Pender competed in the United Arab Emirates, closer to home on the Sunshine Tour, HHS Calais ran his first rounds in more than a year. The 15-year-old Irish gelding has won the Grand Prix of Barcelona, Valkenswaard and Riyadh. All 3 horses appear to have returned in good form. Welcome news for their riders as the spring season approaches. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Horse Show, the show that takes you through and to all the show jumping events of the past weekend. But we do not only cater for those that enjoy show jumping. We're also here for the artistic amongst you. So I'm joined in the studio by a Pablo Picasso lookalike with as distant relatives, nobody else than the famous British painter William Turner. Up until last night, he was still painting fences and poles out in Zanotelli for the upcoming Stallion presentation. With no further ado, let's welcome to the Horse Show, Joe Clee.
Wow. That was...
Have you been painting fences and poles, or is that something that you don't do anymore?
No, I don't do that anymore.
But
I'm available. I'm available to paint poles. A little bit everything in Zangerside, so yeah.
Yeah, it's been a very busy weekend.
It's fairly uncomplicated, isn't it? It's blue or yellow. So
yeah.
It's not...
And a bit of white.
A little bit of white. Yeah. Even I could manage that.
Yeah. This episode of the Horse Show is presented by Zangerside, and normally I would look into the camera and say what is going to happen this week. Maybe I'll let you do it. What's happening?
You want me to look in the camera and tell you what's going to happen?
Or look at me, whatever you feel most comfortable with.
Right, it's the Zangerside Stallion show. So we're going to present some stallions, the amazing new collection. We've got some really new up and coming stallions, 3-4 years old, and we've got some amazing new stallions to the collection that have been jumping for many years.
Yeah.
Plus, we've got the stallion approvals, which we approve. I think there's nearly 100 plus horses in the approval, and then the best ones from the approval go through to an auction. So we've got an auction as well for approved stallions. That's incredible, and some incredible horses come out of that auction. So it's a nice place to be. Plus the parties and show jumping.
And show jumping.
And you and me are there.
Yeah, there's a 4-star Grand Prix on Sunday. The Stallion
3-star Grand Prix.
Presentation. Sorry?
3-star.
3-star Grand Prix. Stallion presentation is on Thursday, presented in 4 different languages, so no reason to miss out if you're into breeding towards that. And of course, there is an unofficial meet and greet with Joe Clee. Other than that, let's dive straight into the Arab League. It was the last stage of the World Cup qualifiers in the Arab League. It was held in Sharjah in the Middle East. It's actually also the end of the whole tour there in the United Arab Emirates. Before we go to the sport, one remark. It was a 5-star Grand Prix at 1.55 m height. A 5-star World Cup qualifier at 1.55 m height. I was a little bit surprised to see that. I didn't see that coming. I had them on my list as 5-star shows, but actually the biggest class was only a 1.55 m class. Only. I have to be careful.
And to be fair, I watched the class. There were some big jumps in there. You know, I mean, I think the 155 on paper, but when you saw the class, it was a decent enough class. Well built, under the lights, so that's an added difficulty as well. The only thing I would say, when it's a 1.55 m, it was still quite high ranking points, right?
Yeah, it was an A group, so
yeah.
Category A for ranking points. So you also have got 1.60 m World Cups, like the Puebla World Cup in Mexico was a 1.60 m class, but was a 4-star class, and the stars depend on the height of the prize money. So there is less prize money, but the fences are higher, but the reward is lower. Not only reward in money, but also in ranking points. It's the only thing that I thought, it's a little bit funny.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you're going to get A-class ranking points, then you need to have a 160. I think that's a very grey area, isn't it? Probably good to have a full episode on that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, in the end, it was a 2-round competition. 11 went through of the 40, 11 went through, 11 on clears. Let's have a look at the top 3, starting with Sophie Hinners. Sophie Hinners on the 10-year-old Iron Dames Kaleni Joe.
I thought this was just an incredible round. Such a good rider to watch. If there's young, inspiring girls out there, watch this one. This is really one to inspire to be. Gets everything perfectly out of the corner on the distance. Looks like this is the perfect plan. Beautiful coming into the double. And look how quick she is up with her body, looking where she's going. And that's a nearly impossible turn made easy.
how tight is the angle, A, to the oxer, and then how you have to turn back into the two-stride combination? That's really difficult.
I think most people walked the course and probably didn't even think that was there, you know?
No.
It's her and Richard are really, they push the boundaries. I love to see it, but they're making everybody work harder, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Richard Vogel. She's the partner of Richard Vogel. We've discussed Richard Vogel already a lot in this show. And we've analyzed videos of his horses in the past and now with him. And they all have that high stride rate, stride frequency. You actually also see that with Sophie.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they're training together at home. They're both incredibly talented riders that like to win classes, you know, and I'm sure there's a little bit of competitiveness between them both pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, this you can imagine Richie doing that turn.
Yeah.
You can imagine that. And for her to go in there and just make it look so easy.
You can also reverse it. You can also imagine Richie getting on the phone if she wouldn't make the turn. Saying,
yeah. Why?
Why?
Why did you not do that impossible turn?
Yeah, just do it.
And why didn't you do it faster? She was still only second. I can imagine that's the conversation.
Did Sophie Hinners force the next man, Abdel Saïd, into making that turn, you think? Was that the plan with Quaker Bramwell?
Definitely. I'm quite sure. Maybe nobody would even think about that turn unless you had to. You know, Abdel's such a competitor. He wants to win, absolutely. He doesn't want to be second, he wants to win. There, I mean, adjustable riding. Perfect. Again, body position, looking where he's going.
Oh, just in.
Yeah, it's in. And both of them, textbook. You know, it looked easy. And I guarantee it's not easy. That was a really difficult turn. And then to turn back to jump a double.
And here, final line.
No.
In the end, he is a second and a half faster than Sophie Hinners.
You didn't see that. I mean, Sophie's round was very smooth. Abdel's a fast rider. He's also got a bigger step. I think he probably did the same amount of strides with a bigger step. Took a little bit more risk.
Yeah. Last but not least, it took him 2 years to come back to that level. Or at least we haven't seen him for 2 years at this level. René Tebbel comes out with Paulus, the horse that we saw in the World Cups with Frederik van Aert. The news was that Alexander Onichenko was going to ride it. Then we saw it shortly with Vladimir Tuganov. But then just out of the blue, Tebbel comes back, gets his white breeches on and goes double clear in a meter 55 World Cup.
We spoke about it last week, didn't we? With Kutscher. It's just natural talent. I mean, Kutscher's been riding, we know that, but for René just to step on, look at that turn. And how ring sharp he still is. I mean, it's one thing being ring sharp in a 120 or 130, but this is the highest level. So to step on and just do this out of the blue.
And I have to be careful. Tebbel is 57. Comparing that to the comeback of Marco Kutscher. And Marco Kutscher was never out. Marco Kutscher was always there and about. Tebbel, I think, actually didn't compete for a while and then came back.
Should just do the mic drop now, no?
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Come back.
And then just
try to come back and do something like that. Drop the mic and then walk away from it again, yeah.
That would be cool. This was the final World Cup of the Arab League. Let's have a look at first the outcome of the Sharjah Ruler Cup. So it was won by Abdel Saïd with Quaker Bramwell, then Sophie Hinners, René Tebbel, Shane Breen in fourth. He came over from Abu Dhabi, where the Longines League of Nations was held last week. Antonia Pedersen, Hagström in there, Laura Rennick with an exciting 9-year-old, Marseille, Ali Al-Nouami, Humayt Al-Muhairi with Fonchetti, Almari with BBS McGregor, Ina Jolie was in the second round with Charlie Lavoie. And then there, the rest of the field. João Victor Castro, actually with Cashpate, who is coming to the Stallion show in Zangersheide, missed out on the second round by just a time penalty. And the rest of the field with, in 20th, David Simpson with Billy Thurn. If everything is well, we should have the winner of the Sharjah World Cup with us. Welcome to the Horse Show. How are you, Abdel Saïd?
Thank you very much. Nice to be here, finally.
Finally. We've been trying to get you on loads of times, but now with this big win, we could not let you go. Abdel, what's happening? Where are you? Where are you sitting?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sitting downstairs in my hotel. I thought it'd be kind of quiet here, but there's a lot going on in Dubai. The Dubai buzz.
You're in Dubai. Give us some insight. What have you been up to since you've left Belgium?
Well, a lot of sun, that's for sure. No, it's been very, very busy. I love coming over here for the winter, so I've been busy with the horses. A lot of shows. We've been competing every weekend, so it's been a hectic schedule, but it's been a lot of fun.
But you're competing both in the Middle East and in Doha because you've won that World Cup in Sharjah, but you were also well placed in the Doha Grand Prix, and we've seen you do that over the last few weekends. Can you give us a little bit of detail of how many horses you've got there, where they are, how many people are there, the team?
Yeah. So I use Dubai or the UAE as our hub for the winter. It's nice. It's an amazing base to be at. Weather is perfect, good shows. And then when Doha started coming up, and obviously there's an amazing schedule, I saw it as an opportunity. I said, why not send 2 or 3 experienced horses to Doha? They can spend, the weather is good. I feel that it's the horses really develop in this kind of temperature. And I thought to myself, I can just hop up and down. It's only an hour flight. So it's like me going to Centaur. So I said, why don't I make the most of both worlds and then have my more experienced horses in Doha, because obviously the level is bigger in general, I find. And then my horses that I need to produce, the upcoming 9 and 10-year-olds, have them with me in Dubai, which I can work on them myself every day.
So how many horses, sorry, Joe, how many horses are we talking about? How many are in Doha? How many are in Dubai? And how many people are there around you?
Okay, so we took basically our whole team, all the clients, Antonia and myself went to Dubai. We are currently roughly around 20 horses, with everybody involved and so on. 5 for me, 5 for Antonia, and around 10 clients' horses. And then I took to Doha 3 horses, 3 more experienced horses. And I'm really, really lucky. This wouldn't be possible with an amazing team of people around me. So they keep the horses going, riding the horses on daily basis in Doha. Yeah, otherwise that wouldn't be possible at all. So that's how I kind of divided it. So I have 8 horses on tour at the moment.
Now, I'm extremely jealous of the scene behind you and the weather and sitting outside in a t-shirt right now, because in Belgium the weather's a little bit less, I think.
And it's getting a little warm, I'd say. It's about 28 degrees now, so it's getting a little sticky, but yeah, it's okay.
I feel really sorry for you, man. I feel really sorry for you. I mean, you've just taken on a new stable in Belgium as well. I know your base is growing in Belgium. How are you managing that between there and Belgium?
Again, look, I always go back to the fact that I'm really lucky with the team of people around me. This would be not possible at all if I didn't have the right people, and that's something that we really work hard on. I have a good team in Zandhoven at the moment. We renovated the place partially, or quite a bit. We did quite a bit. And
The new place.
yeah, that's the new place. Yeah. And there we have all our upcoming youngsters and the clients based in Zandhoven. So that's the place in the crowd. And then here in Tals is our main place where my horses are at, and Antonia's horses, and Arnold Kabloma. And that place is also run by experienced people. So I'm really lucky. It goes back to the team. Is very, very good.
And then you've also got Sam out in America competing as well.
Yes, Sam and Emma, actually, they are holding down the Fortress in the US. That's something that we started roughly a year ago. And yeah, so far it's going well. People seem to be welcoming us, and we have now around 5 clients on board training full time over there. But that's something that's run 80% by Sam. Of course, I'm following up and I'm supporting everything and so, but the day-to-day is run by Sam and Emma together.
With the UAE tour now over, what is your plan for the next couple of weeks? Obviously, you are still in Dubai, but what's happening in the next weeks?
Well, the global tour of Doha, it's in 14 days. And I've quite a lot of work, after you spend the whole tour here, you have a lot of work to do, finishing off everything. So I stayed a couple days here to finish that off. We still have our clients that are going to be staying here for a little bit longer, that are from here. So I can help them a little bit longer. And then I will just fly over to Doha, finish the tour here, and then come to Europe.
Okay. Talking about flying back to Europe, that will be with also those experienced horses. You've had Calvaro, you've had Bon Ami. Now you see Quaker winning this World Cup. How do you look at the development of your horses over the winter, let's say?
Yeah, again, that's the main reason why I come here. I think the shows are fantastic. There's a lot to gain for what you jump as well, which I think is important. You know, I think it's nice to ride a horse in a class where if you do well, you also get something back to be able to pay your bills. Unfortunately, they keep coming. And I think that the circumstances, the weather, the type of shows, the venues, I think they're some of the best shows. And in my opinion, horses leave here really, really well developed, really well and ready for the season in Europe, I think.
And just to talk a little bit about the jump off yesterday, I saw Sophie's round and I just thought there's no way anyone can beat that. The turn inside the water, or inside the flowers, did you plan that beforehand or did you have to, do you think you had to do it because Sophie did it?
A very good question, Joe. You're a sharp guy, well noticed. Honestly, we walked the course and we discussed it and we said, no, that's a crazy turn. Absolutely. No one is going to do this. And then, yeah, typical Sophie, of course, she goes in and does it. And luckily I got to see her because I wouldn't have done it if I was before her, to be honest. I thought no one was going to attempt it. It was a tight angle. And then she did it and I knew how fast Sophie can be. So I thought, okay, this is a jump off that I have to give it all and hope it works out.
Oh, with that big mama as well. I mean, she's big and less nimble, let's say, than I know she's fast, but to get her through that tiny gap, that was pretty magician-like, I think.
Honestly, it was by luck a little bit. You know, anyways, the way he landed out of the combination, he wasn't really pulling, and I was like, wait, this is perfect because it was a one stride, so he kind of set himself up a bit. And I was like, okay, let's go for it. And he was really game. He really developed the horse here as well. Because before, I wouldn't have the jump off, so he wouldn't be with me all the time. And he was still developing. You lose them a little bit here and there. And I just felt him with me yesterday everywhere. So that was nice to feel.
That's really cool. It looked easy. When you did it, it looked easy, I have to say. It looked really cool.
Hey, Abdel, last question. You're coming back. What's the plan for the summer? What are you aiming for? You've got your horses in good shape, like we said, Calvaro, Bon Ami, and now Quaker as well. What are your big goals for the summer?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's really important to continue producing my younger horses. Even Quaker is still pretty inexperienced. I really want to have him solid at the 5-star level shows. And then now I'm going to go to the States for a bit. I'm going to come home. I won't be home much. I'll do a week at home and then I'm off to the States for 6 weeks and to see Sam and the team. So I'll take a couple of the horses over there. And then once I'm back from there, I'll see where they're at and then make my next plan.
All right, super. Abdel, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. We'll let you continue struggle in Dubai. We know you're going through a rough patch. Congratulations on that victory.
Really nice. Thank you very much.
Well done. Really nice to see.
Super. Have a good evening as well, and speak soon. Yeah. He's in a tough position, isn't he, Abdel Saïd?
Yeah, I feel really sorry.
Yeah, we all should. From one not so uncomfortable place in the world to the next, let's take it straight to Wellington, Florida. It was week 7 already in Wellington with another 5-star Grand Prix under the Saturday Night Lights course designed by Antonio D'Ambrosio. It was the comeback for Derek Kenny, who was out after being suspended by the FEI. For Kenny, it was his first 5-star Grand Prix in a long time. I think it was since August that he was out. Derek Kenny with Eddie Blue, single rail right at the end coming into the combination. So the 4 penalties kept Derek Kenny out of the jump off. And it was also the comeback for Akota M of Natalie Dean. She came back in the beginning of February. This was her first meter 60 class. Also, Akota M was actually out for quite a while due to injury. But good to see that Akota is back with Natalie Dean, who already charmed us last week, also at the Longines League of Nations in Abu Dhabi. The course. Antonio D'Ambrosio built the course. When I saw it, I thought, wait a minute, this is fairly jumpable this is
on paper.
yeah, this is actually okay on paper. And then in the end, he had 5 clears with a great spread of faults all across, not one fence that really stood out.
I think what he's done, he built a classical course. On paper, it looked nice, everything looked smooth, but he's built big enough, technical enough with his distances. But what he did really well, he gave choices. You know, so there were times you could stay outside one more. There was a 5 that you could make a 6 if you wanted to. And he gave you time to make a couple of adjustments, which I think is really the most important thing in this course was the time allowed. Perfect. You know, you had time, so big horses, small horses, it was a bit more fair. They could make an adjustment, take one out, or make an extra stride. If you did it well and didn't abuse it, you got inside the time. And if you made one too many adjustments, you were just outside. But there was no one that looked under pressure.
Yeah, there was no rush.
There was no rush. Like, for example, Richard Vogel, he had to make a couple of extra strides in the beginning. At the end, he speeded up and he was just inside. So it was a very fair test. And again, 5 clears, so perfectly built.
Spot on.
It was a lovely course to see.
Yeah. Lovely to see Rodrigo Pessoa coming back. We know him, of course, with Major Tom. He is a decorated champion. Has got this horse since the beginning of December. This is only its 2nd meter 60 class. Where do you think this could go, Joe?
You just see it growing with Rodrigo. I mean, the courses we've seen, this was the best. I know he had a late rail, but you see something big's coming, I think, from him. One of my favourite riders to watch. Classical way of riding, unbelievable feeling with horses, can ride a lot of different type of horses. So I really think the horse looks a little bit more settled now, looks a little bit more in balance, and was jumping amazing. It was a bit unlucky towards the end of the course there.
I always want to know your thoughts and pick your brain on where this could go to. This was the horse's 2nd meter 60 class. Is there a road to Aachen with this horse? And that's August. Now we are mid-February. You could say it's more than half a year, but selections are made much, much earlier.
I think that's where it's going, yeah. I mean, with a rider like this, if he has a horse that's capable, he's definitely on the list. You know, he's reliable, he's experienced, and the way this horse changed, even in the last few weeks, you know, the way it's more settled, yeah, you see a big future.
On one hand, you could say it doesn't have much meter 60 experience. This was only the 2nd meter 60 class. On the other hand, it is 11. It jumped a lot of rounds already with Roger Yves Bost. You think that there is a road to Aachen?
It'll depend on the beginning of the Nations Cups to see. Probably he's going to get a few chances, and again, it always comes down to the riders making the most of their chances. With a rider with this experience and quality, you can't rule it out. You know, it's still a long way away, but you can't rule it out. And after this performance, I mean, they see what we see. You know, this lovely elastic, scopy horse with a lot of quality, and then you put him on top. Yeah, of course, they've noticed him.
That's a horse to follow over the next few weeks and months. Let's see how that plays out. Your old partner was back in business. Yeah, how good was it cool to see the Flor?
Yeah,
the Flor 111. This is him with Erin Bayard in the Grand Prix. I haven't seen him in ages. What's the story of this horse?
So he was in the breeding program from the late Eric Lanen. They did the Stallion shows, and then I got him to ride, I think, when he was 5 years old. Was a lovely horse, a little bit lost in what he had to do. You know, I think the Stallion shows, sometimes they have to always jump well and always be presented well. And when I got him, he kind of stopped using his own brain a little bit, you know. So I said to the guys, give me some time. And Victor and Harry, you know, the real horse people, so they gave him to me. They gave me a lot of time. I think it took 6 months of just going in the ring and letting him make mistakes, actually. All of a sudden, he started to use his own brain. I learned a little bit how to ride him. You know, he had incredible scope and a really powerful back end, and it always pushed him too much forward, you know. So a horse like that really had to learn his own body, actually, his own balance. But then all of a sudden one day it clicked. I think we were in Mechelen in the 6-year-olds in Mechelen. He was second, and then after that it just started going, and then actually was sold to Mexico.
John Perez? And
Yeah, John Perez.
Julio David Weiner?
Yeah, so John Perez was riding him. I think they bought it for a client, and then it came back to John, and then it really found its rider now, you know. I mean, she's doing such a good job, and she sits there, keeps his balance, lets him be what he is, and has an incredible way of just giving him time off the floor. So I think he's really found his way in life. Some horses get lucky and they find the way and they find the rider, and it looks like he has.
Just like humans.
Just like humans.
Yeah.
Just like humans, yeah.
That's really deep. That's philosophical.
No, that's going a bit too far, isn't it?
Last but not least, before we go to the jump off, Christian Koekkoek. Now, we would always show rounds of riders jumping clear and whatever. We didn't do that with the floor. We also don't do it with here. Christian Koekkoek jumps his first 5-star Grand Prix since setting up his own business. This is also the first meter 60 class for Fantasia de Wie. Yeah, it didn't go as planned. Or maybe there was no plan yet because this is the horse's debut. What is Christian up to? We've seen him a little bit. It's the first time that he makes it into the show, actually, since the new year. What are you seeing?
He's on the rebuild. You know, he was working for Ludger for many years, very successfully, obviously, Olympic champion. He's left Ludger's now and he's setting up his own thing, and he's building a new team of horses. And you see he's experimenting with a few things. These horses have to learn him, he has to learn the horses. But it's such a quality rider, you know, once these horses get in his system and he gets a group together, he'll be back at the spot. We've seen it so many times with riders when they leave their job or their sponsor, that it takes, I would say, probably a year normally to find the right team and to build the right team for the rider to get to know the horses, for the horses to get to know the rider.
Because he's there with a group, I think, of 6 or 7 horses,
Yeah.
8-year-old, 9-year-olds. I think Fantasia is 11, owned by Francisco Pascual from Mexico. So they are there. The group is coming together. It's just waiting for those results.
And I'm sure he's got a queue of people wanting to give him horses, you know. He's selected the horses that I've seen him on so far. You can see why he's picked them, you know. Like Fantasia really suits him, quick. I think a few times maybe rushed a little bit in the turn, but that's his style, so the horses have to learn that as well. And you see this horse is going to take a lot away from this round.
Another pair to keep an eye on over the next few weeks. Fantasia de Wie, bred by Gregory Cotard, by the way, with Christian Koekkoek. He is building something in the shed. Christian Koekkoek, he is bringing his team back together. Let's have a look at the first man in the jump-off. That is McLean Ward, the man who knows all about bringing stuff together and building success, here with High Star Hero. Joe, he was first to go. In the end, it was straight away the winning round.
I just don't know if it's good to have him in front of you or behind you. Mm-hmm. You know, he's gone in there and he's done everything straight away. He's put so much pressure on. I think there was one rider quicker than him in the end.
Vogel, who comes next?
Yeah, Vogel. But he's definitely forced Vogel into the mistakes. Again, I'm always amazed how strong upper body, looking where he's going all the time. Class round.
Yeah. The Modon Grand Prix in Wellington had a tough couple of weeks, McLean, with the passing of Imperial, but now bounces back with a great win on the 13-year-old High Star Hero. Richard Vogel, we've mentioned him with Gangster Mon Désir, up until now jumped 4 5-star Grand Prix, jumped them all clear. This is the 5th 5-star Grand Prix and has jumped clear again, Joe.
Incredible results. You would expect it with the rider. Got the 8 down there, circles back, gets 8 here. Again, upper body strength. And just, you know, like here, just trusts it's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's like he knows that it's going to be there, doesn't hesitate. Here, took the risk. You see how much tighter he came inside McLean's steps. Took the risk, didn't pay off this week.
Yeah, really tight.
We know he's going to keep taking those risks and it will pay off.
No doubt. Still 5 out of 5 clears in those 5-star Grand Prix. I read in a press release that it was since Dublin that our next combination never had a rail in a 5-star Grand Prix. James Can Cruise with Shane Sweetnam. You said, yeah, I think he changed bits. In the end, is it confirmed? Do you know if
I just looked, it looked something different, but I didn't confirm it now.
Okay.
But again, incredibly consistent competitor. Does one more stride here than McLean and Vogel, just to set it up. He has a really big stride, so I think he just wanted to take a little bit more time there.
Then it doesn't fly into the combination.
It doesn't fly into the combination. I think if he did or could have done, he would have been faster, because his second half of the course was definitely faster. And one less to the, where he uses the stride here, one less to the last than the others. Just those sort of things, that's where he had to just look after it a little bit more than the other two riders.
Reliability is incredible.
Yeah. Consistency.
Yeah.
And eventually the big win comes, and he's going to have a day where that's role reversed, where he can come out, probably an oxer coming into a double is going to suit him a lot more on a long run. And then he's going to get role reversed,
Yeah.
But you see his ability to take one out to the last, so scopy. They know each other really well. So
yeah. Just in my mind, I don't remember if I said Dinar or Dublin when he started.
You said Dublin.
Dublin. Okay,
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I would tell you if you're wrong.
Sure you will. How nice is it that we can show a man who maybe in Europe not everybody knows, but rode a fantastic Grand Prix. Mark Bloemen with Longines.
Yeah. So actually, again, we talked about it a minute ago, but the horse that's found its rider, I think they're both feisty. They're both wanting to win all the time. I think he's still learning. It's his first 160. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you see, I don't think he's set off as hard as the others, but definitely a big win coming for these two. Lovely combination. I'm happy these two have found each other. Absolutely. And with this horse, this is one of the ones I missed in my life. I tried this horse. And we offered money. I'm not going to say what it was, but we offered money and we didn't quite get there with the price. So I tried him and I missed him on a very small amount of money. And that would have suited me perfectly. Can you imagine me?
Yeah, but I also appreciate Mark Bloemen riding it.
Yeah.
It's an ex Kent Farrington ride, an ex Daniel Bloemen ride. You always have to be careful in comparing horses. This might be the best horse that Mark Bloemen ever rode. Himself is a little bit in the shadow of his nephew, Daniel. This could be the horse that could take him out of that shadow.
Yeah, definitely. It's a top quality horse, and they really fit well together. It's such a funny thing. You can have a good horse, but if it doesn't find the right rider that fits, it's so much about the combination, especially on this level. Those last bits, the trust, or if it fits, how it fits the rider. And I think this is a really good combination for the future. Absolutely.
Yeah, because if you don't know Mark Bloemen, if you've watched a little bit of American show jumping, or at least on the American continent, Mark Bloemen is ridiculously competitive, no?
Yeah, well, it looked fast, but when you know what he's actually capable of doing, it looked quite reserved for the rounds I know he can ride.
Yeah, this absolutely could actually be a very interesting. This is already the next one that we have to keep an eye on for the future. No reason to keep an eye on Nina Malvet. If you've missed her rounds, just be sure that she jumped the necessary clears. Again, clear Nina Malvet with Dynastie de Beaufour.
It's like we've just got the show on repeat, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's every week. Incredibly... I can't keep finding words to say.
No,
really.
It's just at a certain point.
It's a pleasure to watch.
But we've run out of words to describe Nina Malvet. I don't know if the fire-breathing dragon of 2 weeks ago was well received, but in any case, it's just the consistency.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky.
Yep. The Richie the ambitious turn.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do it. You have to try. You have to try, and you have to keep trying. And some weeks it works, some weeks it doesn't work. But absolutely, I wonder I don't know, why did they change it for the triple bar to the oxer? Because they made it a skinny oxer now?
Yep. To make it a little bit more accessible, less risk if somebody would come flying through the turn. I don't know.
Okay, on this level, I don't think it was a risk thing. I think probably for this, it looked more difficult. Yeah. Actually, I think you would have seen more risk as a triple bar, but it would be nice.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think you would have seen them come in a little bit quicker at it with a triple bar.
More punch.
Yeah. Have you seen that before, that they change it, a triple bar for an oxer and a jump off?
It's a really good question. I don't have an answer to it. You often see verticals or oxers.
Not very often
around
you don't have an answer for something.
Yeah, that's true.
Normally you...
Does that mean that all my other answers are correct?
Oh,
no, that doesn't. Let's not go there.
Come on.
Anyways, results of Wellington. The Modon Grand Prix was won by McLean Ward. Second big win for High Star hero Mark Bloemen. Really hot on the heels of McLean with Longines. Then Sweetenham, Richard Vogel, Nina Malvet, and then with just 3 time penalties from the first round, Zoe Conter, followed by the fast fours of Derek Canny, Natalie Dean, Eduardo de Menezes, and Rodrigo Pessoa. That is the top 10. That was Sharjah. That was Wellington. And there is still Gothenburg to come. So don't go anywhere. This is the break halfway through the horse show.
Hi, I'm Henrik von Eckermann. I'm here at the Show Jumping Academy. It's never, I would say not never, but 99% the horses do something because we do wrong. We make problems for them. They don't understand what we want. That is the absolutely main thing. Is directly when something is wrong, we have to tell us. Not say the horse is doing that or the horse is doing what am I doing. That the horse is doing this.
Welcome back to the Horse Show. This episode still presented by the Zangerzijde International, the international show jumping competition that is held this week, coming this week in Centaur Park in Belgium. Everything will be live streamed on Clip My Horse. That will be the Stallion presentation on Thursday, the Stallion approvals. I believe that is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the international competitions, the auction, everything. And even a presentation in 4 different languages. Let's take that from Centaur Park straight to Gothenburg in Sweden, to the Scandinavium, the home of the World Cup and also the home of the Gothenburg International Horse Show. Joe, have you ever seen as many flowers in a small arena as in Gothenburg?
That is a lot of flowers. I didn't notice that when I watched it, actually. I was more concentrating on the horses.
I was blown away by the size of the flowers, the dimensions, the colors, the sheer number of flowers that were there. Apparently, this is typical Gothenburg. Started in the 80s, and ever since they call it extravagant. And extravagant. It was. Do you think it has any impact on the jumping, having so much filler alongside of the fences?
Yes. Yeah, I think it makes it a little bit easier, actually.
The jumping itself?
Yeah, having big boards next to it to hold you in, keep you a bit straight. Also depends where they position it. I don't think it's very good for riders with hay fever. That's that probably makes it more difficult for those. But for most of the horses, yeah.
Okay.
At that level, you know, if you got a young horse and you go into that ring, it's going to be really spooky. But and I don't think it makes it easier for the course designers to put all that out every time.
Also, Peter Schumacher was the course designer there for the first time because next year he is building the World Cup final, which is held in Gothenburg. He gave us some things to talk about because a lot of riders went there with only two stages left on the World Cup series to qualify for Texas. Let's first look at the first two in that class, Rodrigo Almeida and Patrick Stuhlmeier. Almeida with GB Diamantina, Stuhlmeier with Baluter. Almeida with a very early fault. And then here just look at the number of fences. But Almeida did not, number of flowers, sorry, but Almeida did not have the run he was looking for. Rodrigo Almeida with Diamantina, he retired and did not score. Nor did Patrick Stuhlmeier with Baluter PS. Had a great run in the Mechelen World Cup. From there he started his campaign to qualify for Texas, but also Stuhlmeier struggled, especially at the end of the course, and his penalties have kept him out of the jump-off and also out of the points. Joe, there was a first line that we saw with Rodrigo Almeida, the line 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I think the major thing for this course, everything comes so fast at you, you know, and that's what the course builder's really done. I think it came off the back of the combination, very difficult combination. Oxa, very short to come out. Horse is already pretty backed up there. You come round the corner here to 7. That was quite okay. 6 strides to the Oxa and then a very short 3 strides up to a white plank. Really had to find your balance, and obviously you've only got 3 strides to do it. You're coming off an Oxa, off a line, so only 3 strides to get the balance. I think that fell quite a lot. I think you're going to know the statistics.
I have them somewhere on this iPad.
That's okay. It fell a lot.
Yeah.
But then this turn back here, it looks fairly easy on here, but it came so quick out of the corner. And I think this was one of the major. These 2 jumps here were 2 of the major bogey fences in the course, and mainly because everything just came so quick. You know, to jump, get your balance, keep your eye on what you're doing, where you're going, and keep everything controlled.
It's also the kind of arena, and you as a coach or trainer, you might often say to your pupils or students, take your time in the corner. Here, there's not even a corner. You're constantly pushed inwards.
Yeah.
It's just a big egg, big circle.
And that's really the key to riding these courses well is the corners, getting the shot you want coming into a line. Because once you're in the line, it's a fixed distance. You know, it's maybe an outside 5 or an inside 5, but it's always a 5 in this sort of course. So depending on your horse, if you've got a short stride or a big stride, it's coming off the corner and finding the right distance that suits your horse. So if you want to make a bit of ground up, you need a bigger distance with a bit of pace, so you land and you make up time. You know, if you find yourself on a small horse and you have one too many in the corner, then the next line is pushing flat, and then you still don't have time to regain the balance again afterwards. So the key to this, looking where you're going, preparation, making good turns.
There's a few important ones that had problems in that line. For example, here comes Dennis Lynch. Lynch with Chicago, so jumps the vertical.
The 6, and then look, you land out of balance and really have to get he just ran out of a bit of room, you know. He tried to get it up, but he was still holding a bit the last stride, and then that breaks the jump a little bit, you know. Then you see he couldn't finish behind.
Robert Whittaker also went there with the ambition to score some points to qualify for Texas with Equine America Vermento.
Yeah, bit the same thing. Maybe a little bit late on the waiting. Tried to do a little bit in the end. Also, you've already had one down. The lack of concentration, and afterwards.
Because we mentioned here the 6 strides.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of riders also fell to the inside to the Oxa, because it's not only the plank that got taken down.
Yeah, but a lot of riders did that on purpose as well. You know, they fall to the inside to make the 6 short.
Yeah,
like Robert there had the back bar, because he's thinking already about the plank.
Get a small jump.
Yeah. you don't want to do the outside 6 and come flying into that line. If you do the outside 6, you've done it wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it actually walks probably a normal 6, but you come the inside line to keep them there, so you get a small jump.
Makes sense. Last that we want to show for that line is Jordi van Massenhoven. He is 22nd on the standings, has 27 points, needs points to go to Texas. And also he just, like you said, runs out of room. Same story. One more line that you want to discuss with us, Joe. Last line in a very difficult, delicate World Cup. The line 12, 13A, 13B.
Yeah, it was a very difficult line. Coming towards the end of the course, jumping wide oxer off the turn here. And then you really had to be on it to get the 7 as you wanted it, what we just talked about. You know, if you've got a short striding horse, you try to get around the corner so you come a little bit more inside 7, so you're not pushing the last strides. And again, for a normal striding or a bigger striding horse, you come a little bit outside. What I loved about this round, we talked about it a while ago, from Johan Sebastian Gulliksen, you know, how which always jumps a little bit to the left, and he used that actually on this line to his advantage.
Because he's the only one actually who rode 8 strides, you mean?
Yeah, but it was cool to see, you know. I mean, the horse is jumping better and better and better, but he jumped the oxer and it looked like he had planned the 8 now. You know, he landed, the horse did his little step to the outside. Johan was straight away there, set him up for the 8. It's cool to see.
What surprised me, we've got a lot of riders lined up for you. Here's Philipp Schulze-Tophoff. The 7, there were 7. It was never, let's say, a 6. Okay, Johan Sebastian Gulliksen did an 8, but I was surprised to see how many different takeoff points that we saw coming into that combination. That was Philipp Schulze-Tophoff. We'll just keep going with Marcus Westergren and with Wilma Helmström.
Yeah, again, it was all about planning, you know, how you jump that oxer, and if you took the inside or the outside line to give yourself more room coming in or to slow them down coming in. Completely depending on your horse. She's taken a little bit more the inside line so she can really wait.
And she's actually a touch too long coming into the combination?
No, I think she just lost a bit of power and couldn't get the leg on again. You know, ran a bit. I think if she rode that again, I think she'd take a little bit more of the outside line, a little bit bigger distance so she can keep the leg on. Now she fell a little bit inside or planned to come a little bit inside, ran out of room and couldn't get that last push, the last stride. You know, the last stride, you need to get the leg on, you need to help them off the floor, and that she couldn't do here. She ran a little bit out of room.
Okay, fortunately we did have some clears, so here are the riders that progressed to the jump off of the World Cup in Gothenburg at the Gothenburg Horse Show. Gulliksen, Emmen, Smolders, Mansour, Deusser, Sato, Barriard Johnson and Greve with 8. They went into the jump off. Yeah, Johan Sebastian Gulliksen, let's bring up his round. Straight away, already in the first round, jumped fantastic. That horse is now producing clears after clears after clears.
And, you know, he's going to the World Cup final, so he'll be practicing going fast, for sure. First day's a Table C, so you need to be fast. You need to be up there.
Rode the second fastest round. In the beginning, he was actually struggling with time, trying to go as fast as possible, but not really getting any speed into his rounds. Now he's getting much more reactive.
Yeah, much quicker, much faster out of the turns. Also, he's qualified, so he can move it up.
There is no pressure.
There's no pressure. But I'm sure he'll be doing these rounds with the idea the first day in the World Cup final, he needs to be on it. You know, he needs to be quick the first day.
And if you want to be a little bit competitive, that is a must. Kim Emmen, just again, we're talking about clear after clear.
Rode a great round for her horse.
Yep.
What can you say? She just keeps producing clear rounds. The horse looks comfortable. She looks comfortable, both at the top of their game.
It's really impressive how stable and how consistent they are throughout this winter season. Not even the winter season. It's much more than that.
Since the championship, you know. I mean, the confidence they took away from the championship, you just see it snowballing, you know. It's getting better and better. And she's qualified for the World Cup final now.
She is, but she indicates that she's not going.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, strange decision. I think the World Cup final is an amazing thing to do, you know. I actually, have experience on this. I qualified for the World Cup final the first time I tried with a horse called Blasquez. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I think it was really in the flow state that year. She was jumping clear round after clear round and couldn't do any wrong. We qualified quite easily on the first effort, so I thought that was easy, wasn't it? And then the chef to keep for the English teams told me to save her, So don't take her to the World Cup final, save her for the Nations Cups. So we did that, and the first Nations Cup she injured herself and went lame. And that's one of the biggest regrets I have in my career. Not doing the World Cup final. I never qualified again. I do tomorrow, and he had other things going on. So I never qualified again, and that's one of my biggest regrets, not doing that. I think sometimes horses they give themselves holidays when they're ready, Yeah. And I think sometimes you just have to make hay when the sun's shining,
That's an interesting one.
If you qualify,
okay.
brave not to go.
Making hay when the sun is shining. Beautiful comments from Harry Smolders about Monaco. The 17-year-old came out for the first time since Geneva, went clear straight away in that Gothenburg World Cup, had a little bit of a hiccup here at the upright, then circled and came out with...
I think the fence must have been in the wrong place.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Harry doesn't miss.
I've never seen Harry miss.
No, the fence was definitely in the wrong place.
He will not blame Monaco. So that is something that you don't see very often.
It was the course builder's fault.
However, great to see Monaco back. He is not aiming at any World Cup finals. I think he's aiming, and really aiming, at the Dutch Masters in the Bosch.
Yeah, I hope so. He deserves it.
And we haven't seen him since Geneva. Only brought him back now. I think that's really high on his list for this year.
That'd be a cool thing.
Yeah. Yuri Mansour. Antonio already in the points in a World Cup.
Yeah.
Vitiki already in the points in a World Cup. Now also with Elano de Lobry. He can just pick who he's going with to Texas, to Fort Worth. So he was in great form, and good to see that Elano finally gets a clear after a long streak of World Cups and Grand Prix on 4 penalties. Straight over to Daniel Deusser. Othello de Guldeboom, the fastest round of them all.
Yeah, I think he was as shocked as everyone else. Yeah, the last fence down, but completely didn't deserve it. It was a top round. Again, another combination that's just going from strength to strength in this indoor season. Getting better and better, faster and faster. I think he's a strong candidate for the final. This was a beautiful turn.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Because a lot of riders rode it as tight, but not many got the same qualitative jump of straightness and shape.
But that he can do. His last stride is always so good, and he's so much in balance. Yeah, and that's just one of those things.
Yeah,
that's just one of those things. He doesn't always finish behind a little bit, and then when you're traveling at speed, that sort of thing can happen, but doesn't happen very often, luckily.
Eiken Sato was very much surprised by the warm welcome he received from the Swedish crowd. Had everything to do, of course, with his double clear. Points-wise, actually, he's also heading for Texas for the World Cup final.
That would be nice to see. That would be nice to see. He's a great rider, great competitor. He was in Europe for a long time, winning a lot of classes. And this horse, we've seen this horse really improve in the winter season. You know, it's a big horse. I think in the beginning it looked like he was struggling to get all the steps he wanted. Good big stride, rangy. What he's done this winter, when he goes back outdoors in the bigger rings, he's going to find it so much easier. You know, I think these smaller rings really educate the horse to be able to sit and work a bit harder. It's not been easy for him, but what he's going to take to the outdoor season is priceless.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that. So Chadelano is already 15 years old. Mm-hmm. He's not the youngest. Eiken rode 5 World Cups with it. 3 he jumped clear. When Eiken jumped his first World Cup with that horse, it was 1,120 days ago since that horse jumped a meter 60 class. So he had a little bit of injuries. Then he jumped a few small classes, again some injuries. So he was out for 3 years back, and then Eiken took him up and did it quietly. But between the last meter 60 class, and the first one in this World Cup
Yeah,
campaign
okay.
was nearly 3 years.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So actually, low mileage.
In a way, low mileage, and your just to enforce your comment about how the horse has developed over those 5 stages on the World Cup, from not jumping any meter 60 classes to actually becoming competitive.
Also a strong candidate for the championships.
Mhm.
You know, I think he'll probably be there.
Are you talking championships as the finals or the World Championships?
No, the World Championships.
There we go.
I think he's a strong candidate, no?
That's an interesting one. Last but not least, and actually not last, 18-year-old Indiana Malin Bayard Jonsson. I thought she had it. I thought she was faster than Kim Emmen.
Absolutely. It's a quick horse, really quick rider. I thought she had it as well. I think she has to be a bit careful sometimes on the turnbacks. I think she's much quicker in a bigger ring where she can really gallop forward. But
Maybe this is a wider turn.
a little bit wider, exactly. That's where she has to be a little bit careful. It's a very quick horse. Maybe this jump off didn't quite suit it, you know?
Yeah.
She had to keep a bit of control always for the turnbacks. You see here again, a little bit wider than the others.
Couldn't let her run the
But-
way.
Incredible horse, incredible career,
Yeah.
incredible rider. One of my favorite riders.
She did the extra stride to the last.
Yeah.
Maybe the stride that Daniel lacked.
Were you telling Daniel how to do his job? It's okay.
I'm asking you a question.
It's okay. I was thinking it. I was with you on that one. Yes, Daniel. Watch Malin.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay. Let's have a look at the head-to-head between Willem Greve and Kim Emmen. Because for Greve, it meant another win, already the third one on this World Cup season.
I think a very fair competition between these two horses. You know, we often see jump-offs with little quick ones. I think this jump-off course was against these two horses, not naturally the fastest horses, very fast riders on top.
What a...
Yeah, exactly. Willem just took more risk there. And I think that set him up for the win. Could take a little bit more time then to jump the double. And then again here. Willem's turn back was a little bit tighter. Kim comes back a little bit with the gallop, but left it too late.
Surprisingly, this is only the first individual 5-star win for Grandorado.
I was very surprised to hear that as well. You can't believe it, can you?
No.
How many championships and how many big scores he's done?
Nations Cups that he won with the Netherlands. It's the first 5-star win, individual 5-star Grand Prix or World Cup win for Grandorado.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's not the last.
No. Greve now wins 3 World Cups in the same season.
Cool, eh?
Something that doesn't happen very often. Apparently, from what I could find, only Julien Paillard did it in recent years.
I thought you were going to say Daniel. I think there was... maybe Daniel's quite old. Maybe that's not recent years. But yeah, I think Daniel won a few one year.
That is from the 2014 season.
14.
I didn't go that far back. For me, life starts again after Corona or COVID. Julien Paillard, 2022-2023 season, won Lyon, Madrid and Amsterdam.
Okay.
So
it's not easy to do, I tell you. To win 3 World Cups in one season, that's something to do as well.
Okay, let's bring up the standings. The results of the Gothenburg Horse Show with Willem Greve as the winner. Actually, 2 NOP horses there, first and second. Grandorado, TN and Imagine, NOP. Then Malin Bayard Jonsson with Indiana. Sato Mansour, Doyse Gulliksen, Smolders Whittaker with a time penalty from the first round. And then further down, Felix Koller, Petronella Andersson. Oda Charlotte Lingvar did pick up points up to 16th place. You get points also points on the standings for Giampiero Garofalo, and then Hellström, Westergren and Arquetin at the bottom. And here come the standings with only 1 stage left to jump in Helsinki. Who leads? Well, Willem Greve is the new leader, has overtaken Julien Paillard and Daniel Doyse. Doyse also moved up. Sebastian Gulliksen made up 1 place. Mansour also. And we have to look at those riders with 40 points or more. So Kim Emmen, Kevin Stout, or all in. Alain Juffert is in. You could think that Eiken Sato is going to be very close, but what about the Lestre, Fuchs, Le Prévost, Thomas, Lingver, Cian O'Connor, Ben Mayer and Steve Gerda. Apologies. It's all a big question mark for them how Helsinki is going to play out, because this is what is coming this week on Kleed My Horse. It is presented by the Aloga Show Advisor. WEF Sport Horse Auction is on Thursday evening in Wellington International. The Zangerijden International is of course also all week on Kleed My Horse, but Helsinki on Sunday is the event to watch with lots at stake. I've written them down, give me a minute. Oda Schroter-Lingver, Philip Schulze-Tophoff, Jordi van Massenhoven, Patrick Stuhlmeier, Marc de Laster and Dennis Lynch are those from let's call it the regular season that are still fighting for those points to get points in Helsinki. But remember that Steve Gerda said, if all goes well, I might go to Helsinki. Gerda is now outside of those, or flirting with the qualifying group. Gerda is going, Watley is going.
Super.
Malin Bayer-Johnsen is going. So on one hand, you've got these riders really struggling for those final points to get them over the line. On the other hand, there's a few big names going there as well. So it is going to be a very exciting run, a very exciting race, a very exciting class on Sunday afternoon in Helsinki in their new venue, by the way, Joe. Will you be able to watch Helsinki live, or will that be a video on demand from the Kleed My Horse archive for you?
I think it'll probably be on demand. We'll see. We'll see what time it is. I'm looking forward to it, actually. The big names are there. It's going to be exciting to qualifies. But I'd imagine it'll be a recording for me.
Because you will be in Zangerijden.
I will be in Zangerijden, the only place actually to be. I don't know why they're going there. Why don't they come to Zangerijden?
It's actually a very good comment. Joe, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you are very busy this week. I know you will be also tight on a schedule over the weekend, and on Mondays we will see each other back here in the studio for another episode of The Horse Show. And to you at home, thank you very much for watching as well. It was a great weekend, but the best is yet to come, and you'll find it all here on The Horse Show.